How are we doing, boys? Welcome back to another Streamy TV video. We're on this channel, we cover Bitcoin, loads of crypto, all altcoins, and MicroStrategy. And right now, over the last few days, we have seen breaking news that MicroStrategy MSTR, which is the chart on screen, announces it sold 1,638 Bitcoin, an average price of $63,957, and that is raising basically 104 million. And so far the stock is down 41% this year and 83% from its all-time high. Now, this is the MicroStrategy chart, and as we can see on here, from the 4-year lows back basically in January 2023, down here at about $13, MicroStrategy managed to put in an absolute enormous 45x to the highs in December 2024 on that run into Trump coming into office. And then if we take it to the bodies, basically, it's about a 38x to about the July peak last year in 2025. Now, undoubtedly, since that high, MicroStrategy is down about 80% here. On here it says 83%, so around 80%. And again, just like we've seen late 2024, late 2022, start of 2023, we've seen the 4-year lows come into play here for that massive rally. And I'm here to tell you yet again, this is my buy zone for MicroStrategy. All this FUD that you're seeing, that MicroStrategy has sold X amount of Bitcoin at an average price, blah, 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 raising so much. Strategy's selling their Bitcoin. Everyone's saying Strategy's going to go bust. Everyone's saying Michael Saylor should be in prison. All this narrative. But regardless, if we look at Bitcoin right now is, again, down 50% off its all-time high. Again, that's coming into its 4-year cycle, which I talked about in previous videos, and I'll cover in this video. But Bitcoin's down 50%. Strategy, which the whole thing buys Bitcoin on its balance sheet, so if Bitcoin goes down, Strategy's going to go down. And yeah, it's all FUD. People are not going to want to buy MicroStrategy as it keeps going lower. And as you can see, this is my buy zone. This is where I'm looking to accumulate the 4-year lows later this year. And as it stands, we have the symmetrical triangle on the chart as well, on the 1-day time frame. If we zoom in here, you can see this in play, and I would expect us to break to the downside. And again, us to go even lower into the end of the year, into Q4. And that is kind of my thoughts on MicroStrategy. I'm definitely going to be a buyer later this year. I'm looking at $63. I'm looking at under $50. Hopefully we can get there. And I'll be looking to go down hard. I don't think people have even capitulated yet. But I want to just suggest as well that Strategy sold this here. They've sold the 1,638 Bitcoin, raising 1 million, causing FUD. But all that does for MicroStrategy is reduce its holding to 842,000 Bitcoin. So they've sold, let's say they've sold 2,000 Bitcoin, but they've still got 842,000 left. So in the grand scheme of things, it's a tiny, tiny amount of Bitcoin, and it's just causing so much FUD in the market. And yeah, the chart tells you 1,000 words. Back here, when we were on this massive falling wedge and we got this fake breakout, I was saying it's bearish because I still thought Bitcoin had lower to go. And as we can see, this parallel channel upwards has broke to the downside from there. And so down 60% so far from there. But yeah, as we can see, kind of like a symmetrical triangle pattern here that I would expect to keep going down into this buy zone, into the 4-year lows between now and the earliest part of next year. I would expect MicroStrategy to bottom out and expect to see a lot more FUD like this, a lot more selling from Strategy. But yeah, again, if we look at Bitcoin, we've got this kind of rising wedge in play in here. If we zoom in on the 1-day time frame, in here, this rising wedge. So far, during this bear market from the October peak last year, as I've previously said, we are down about 53%. And during this period, we have just been kind of coming down, bear flag, coming down, bear flag, coming down, and this is a rising wedge which is starting to break down. So right now, I'd expect further downside, which I've been calling for on this channel for a while. That's just on the 1-day chart. If I go to the 1-week chart, you can see this bigger picture here. You can see in 2014, I'll go on the monthly time frame quickly. We'll do some top-down analysis. Obviously, MicroStrategy, Bitcoin deeply related. Bitcoin's going down, strategy is going to get absolutely beaten up. But yeah, the strategy and my bullishness on MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor certainly is always going to be here. We see last bear market, actually, if I touch on that, from the 2021 high, strategy went down 90%. Before that, as I said earlier in this video, rallied 33x. That's not even accurate, but it was about 45x to here, 35x to here. And obviously so far, we're down 83% from the high. So we've seen 90% down and then a massive rally for 3 years. 4 year lows, 4 year highs, 4 year highs, 4 year lows, 4 year 4 year highs, 4 year lows, 4 year highs, 4 year lows, and I'd expect another 4 year high coming. And it's just about who has the balls and the strength to buy here to then sell the high. Think about the amount of people panic selling on the way down. That is simply how a market operates. And yeah, if we go back to Bitcoin, we see on 146 in 2015, we bottom. 147, 2018, we bottom. 147, 2022, we bottom. Are we going to bottom around 147, which would be October this year? It could be early next year, but around 147. Again, we see the peaks, 133, 35, 35, and 35. So the people denying the 4 year cycle still was pretty mental to me. But anyway, if we go back to the 1 week chart here, we can see we have this massive rising wedge in here in the white, but you can see from 2015, we then bounced in 2022, we then bounced in 2023, and in here we lost it at the start of the year. And since then, we've been breaking down for a considerable amount of time, coming down, putting in bearish patterns, breaking down, putting in bearish patterns, breaking down, another bearish pattern in here. But again, every bear market, we have seen Bitcoin get below the 0.786, which is about the 40k range, which is what I'm expecting as well. So Bitcoin, say, has around another 40% move down. Strategy, again, could keep moving down. And yeah, for me, I'm still bearish for the next wee while. Yes, I'm getting my dry powder ready. But I just wanted to kind of address this news of MicroStrategy announcing it's sold 1,638 Bitcoin, which is causing loads of FUD. And obviously, in the grand scheme of things, it's a tiny amount. And we're going to see FUD like that as Bitcoin continues to bleed into its 4 year cycle low, as MicroStrategy continues into its 4 year low. But again, symmetrical triangle pattern, let's see how it plays out. I think this is a bearish one, the one we can see on the left here. I think that's what's happening here. And then again on Bitcoin, I think it's this rising wedge pattern we're seeing. So again, a few more months of chop on Bitcoin into that 147. Around that time frame, I'd expect this to bottom out. And I've got my eye on that 40k, that 0.786 fib, which we've seen in the previous 3 bear markets. So yeah, I've been bearish for a while on this channel, and it's not enjoyable, but I can't wait to flip bullish again. And yeah, I'll keep making bearish videos. I'll keep addressing news as it comes. It's been pretty boring, but yeah, if you're enjoying these videos, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.